Hi students, in this video let us see the theory part regarding the loops concept. So in this one we are going to learn why we need a loop and supports the three types of the loops. They are while loop, do while loop and for loop. Okay, now how this while and the do while differs we'll see, and what is meant by nested loop we'll see, and how do we use this break and the continue keywords inside the loops we'll see, and also what is the importance of this exit function also we'll see. Okay, so let's see here. The first one is why we need a loop. Okay, so when you like to execute the one or more statements for a specific number of the times, I require a loop here. Like for example, I would like to print main, so printf hello 10 times. So we need to write this printf hello like this. I need to write that here 10 times. But instead of writing the 10 times, what I do is I write that statement only one time. Okay, I write it only one time. So I keep it inside the one loop, like for I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus, open brace and the close brace. So you already declare the int I variable. Then what happens here? This statement is hello executed 10 times. So I'm writing the only one time, but I'm executing this, repeating this statement 10 times using this for loop. So inside this block, I can have one or more statement. Just for the simple example, I have written here only one statement, but it will include n number of the statements. So that is the need of the loops. Okay, fine. So C has three loops: while, do while and the for. All these are the keywords, and every loop should have a initial value and the condition, and as well as the increment and decrement part. So this increment decrement part should be in such a way that somewhere the condition should become false. Whenever this becomes the false, then only the loop is terminated. That you remember. So whenever I value become here 11 less than or equal to 10, condition false, then it terminates the loop. Otherwise the loop enter into the infinite loop. Okay, and these loops are also known as a iterative statements. Loop statements are iterative statements. So if you see while the execution process is first initialization, condition, then statements, increment and decrement part, whereas in the do while, see, initialization is the same, but instead of checking the condition, what is happening here? Executing the statement and the condition is checked here at the end. Okay, then so the functionality of the three loops is the same, just to execute a few statements for the specific number of times. And see here the syntax of three statements here. So first I have the here initialization, then here condition or expression, and increment or decrement part. In the do while also one here expression and the increment and decrement part. Here one increment or decrement part, and expression here 2, and increment or decrement part. Observe the arrow marks here. So initialization, then after that if the condition is the true, whenever if and if the only true, the while block is executes. Okay, the difference between the while loop and the do while loop is seen here. First it is executing all the instructions which are inside the do while loop and checking the condition here. If it is the false, it is executing the next statement, but if it is the true, again it is entering. Means before check this condition, these statements are executed at least one time. Okay, that's why this do while loop is called a exit control loop. whereas the while is called a entry control loop. Means if condition is the true, then only enter. But in the do while, at least one time execute the statements and check the condition at the end. So the advantage with the for is I can initialize and write the condition or expression increment decrement part at one place. Here we are writing the three places in the while and do while, but whereas in the for at one place. So this is how syntactically differs one loop to another loop, but the functionality is can be achieved with these three as same. Let's see the differences between the while and do while loop. So condition is at top, but at last. Brackets are optional here, but these are the mandatory here. At the end of the while, no semicolon, but even you don't write semicolon, even you write the semicolon, it's not an error. But here in the do while, it's compulsory. So condition is more important, process is important. Then, so I'm saying entry control loop is nothing but a entry control loop, exit control loop. So for example, if the n value is 11 here, 11 is less than 10, condition false, doesn't execute these statements. But here first it prints the if n equal to 11, it prints the 11, then it checks the condition. Here 11 less than or equal to 100. Okay, let us assume it is the 120. So 120 it prints 120, 120 is less than or equal to 100, condition false, even though it's printing its value. Okay, next let's see the topic called here nested loop. What is mean by nested loop? I write one loop inside another loop, like a nested if statement. Okay, I can write any loop inside the another loops. This is very useful when we are working with the multidimensional arrays. And the inner loop is executed only if and only if outer loop is true. Okay. Then whenever outer loop takes a new value, then inner loop value started from the beginning. These are the points we need to remember. Next, break and the continue keywords. So these break and the continue, these are the keywords in C. Break, we already learned how to use with the switch statement, and you can see the number of examples in the programming also, programming videos. And continue used only inside the loops only. Okay, and it terminates the loop by skipping the loop statement which are after the break keyword. Whereas the continue is opposite to the break, continues the loop by skipping the loop statements without executing which are after the continue statements. And inside the one loop I can have multiple break and continue statements. In a nested loop, if the break and continue are in inner loop, they works only inside the inner loop only. It doesn't work for the outer loop. If it is the outer loop, then works for the outer loop. If the break is outer loop, it terminates the entire nested loop also. Okay. See here, this diagram, below diagram, shows the clear picture of how break and the continue works here. See, inside the while loop, I have the here n number of the instruction, but whenever there is a break keyword, without executing these instructions, it's coming out and executing the next statement, means terminating the loop here. Generally, these statements are executed until this condition is the false, but before even it is the true, okay, So using the break keyword, it terminates the skips these instructions and terminate the loop. The continue is opposite. Without executing these statements, it goes to the expression part until this condition is the false. These statements are continuously executes. Okay, this is how while break and the continue works inside the loop. See, break is just only come out of this loop and execute the next statement, but I don't want to execute this next statement also. In that situation, use the exit function in place of the break. See here, I have the break keyword. Whenever I have the break keyword, this I equal to 1, 1 less than or equal to 4, this is the true, it's print the C. Then after that, immediately it's come out of the loop and prints end of main. So my output is C and end of main. But whereas if I use exit here, okay, so 1 less than or equal to 4, it is the true, it prints the C. Then see, my output is just only C, it is not printing the end of the main also. So completely entire program is terminated with the help of this exit function. Exit is a function, whereas the break is a keyword. That's the difference between the break and the exit function. Exit functions should have some value as parameter. You can pass some value to this one. Okay, and I show you the few valid statements inside the loops, interview points. Remember these things. While in the first statement can have the semicolon at the end of the while and the for also. Increments paths are optional inside the loops. If you don't write it, it enters into the infinite loop. For multi-dimensional arrays, you have to go with the for loop. That is the best one. And while writing the first statement, I can write without the initial expression increment decrement part, but the semicolon is mandatory, compulsory. And printf scanf statement also can be written as expressions inside the loops. Like here, let's see here. While of null value is the 0, so false. Okay, but you can write null also. This also, while true always true, this is also false. You can write the expression not. See, I'm writing the print statement here. This is also valid, and scanf also valid, and comma, multiple variables, expressions, pre-increment, a equal to b, just assignment, for without any condition, expression, and the increment or decrement part. Just have the initialization part, have the only condition part, and the only increment part. See, multiple variable initialization, multiple variables conditions, multiple variables increments. All these are the possibles. Okay, inside the for, I'm writing the print statement also. So I can write all these categories of the different ways inside the loops. That's why I have written the expression, the syntax as a while expression, not the just only condition. This expression may be a numeric expression or it may be Boolean expression. Okay. So regarding all these loops, you can see the n number of the different videos. You can find the number of the videos related to the loops concept.